Hey guys, it's Tango Oscar Mike. I know I haven't made any videos in a while, and I've been really busy, but there's been a lot going on. We've had a tragedy. My Lab 599 has no transmit power. I don't know for sure what happened. I have some suspicions as to what happened, and it may be my fault. So I'm reached out to support, but as you know, Lab 599 is in Russia. There's no commerce allowed with Russia because of the war going on. They do have a person doing repairs here in the United States. But I put in a call and sent an email a couple days ago, 2 days ago. Haven't heard anything yet, but you know, it is what it is. I hope I can get it repaired. I do like that radio. I love it a lot, but we'll see what happens. I still have my kayaks too, so I'll be able to do that. I've just been really busy. I'm not going to go out now because it's pouring rain, but I'll show you if it stops raining. I'll try to walk down later. But I built a raised bed garden. You know, me and my wife have been trying to be more self-sufficient, and a garden has always been one of the things that we wanted to do. And this year I put effort in. I built 9 raised garden beds. And because we have so many deer and other animals here, I put a 6-foot high fence around. That meant pounding in 22 T-posts. I put them every 4 feet to support the fence really well. That's been done. I had to shovel almost, what was it, 2.65 tons of topsoil. Plus I bought a bunch of other bagged raised bed soil, Miracle Grow raised bed soil to mix in to, you know, give it a little bit more fertilizer and make it a little better. So yeah, it was a lot of work. It was a tremendous amount of work, but we got it done. Everything's planted. We have stuff coming up already: zucchini, corn. I had to buy my pepper plants because my pepper seeds that I bought didn't sprout, and I'm not sure why. I couldn't find any bell pepper seeds, and the ones I did find, the packets looked really old, and maybe they were just too dried out or something, but they didn't sprout. So I bought some pepper plants, but we have tomatoes, cucumbers, cantaloupe, carrots. I think that's all. I think that's all we have going. Lots of zucchini because we love zucchini. So the next big project though, and I mentioned it in one of my other videos, that we were looking into a whole house generator, and we contacted Generac, I contacted Kohler, and everyone told me I couldn't get one, that they're back ordered for like a year or over a year. I tried to get on a list. I was told, you know, they really don't do that when it's that long. You know, it was frustrating. You know, we budgeted for it, and we wanted to get a generator. My buddy got a generator. He had a generator, but he didn't have a propane tank, and he struggled to get a propane tank. He was told that there is a propane tank shortage. He had trouble getting a propane tank. I think he said he called like 12 different vendors and finally got somebody who could bring him a propane tank. The last power outage, my neighbor's propane tank, she ran out, and she had trouble getting propane delivered. Plus the price of propane has been going up. I don't know if that's because of all the other gas shortage, oil shortage, or what, but and with Biden closing the pipeline and everything, I don't know how much all that affects that, but so I couldn't get a generator, so I started to think about our power outages. During that ice storm, we had a 66-hour power outage. That was the longest power outage we've had in a long time. Usually it's a couple of hours, a few hours here and there. So I started looking into thinking about a battery backup that would last that long. So basically build a battery backup to support the critical things we have in the house. That the generator, we have a 6,500 watt generator, but it doesn't run everything. It's not quite enough to run some of the other things we want to run. It runs our hot water tank, our hot water heater, so we can get showers, but it's only connected to 10 circuits in the house, and so we end up still running extension cords and everything else. So what I came up with is a backup battery system that should last us quite a while. Probably not more than a day, but it depends on your usage and how much you're using it, and if you're being conscious of it and everything else. And the goal is to put in the battery backup with an all-in-one inverter, and then maybe add solar panels later on. It's a huge expense to do something like this. And looking online, it's kind of hard to find somebody who's done something like what I'm trying to do. But I did as much research as I can, and we bit the bullet. And actually, the first shipment just arrived on this rainy day. Really nice FedEx freight delivery guy. He was, even though it was raining, he was super awesome, and even offered to try to help me get it in the garage. But we were able to park the pallet right here. So this is the rack that the batteries will sit in. So I'll have to assemble this. I got four 48 volt 100 amp hour batteries. And this is, I believe, the inverter. It is a 12 kilowatt inverter, and I think it peaks at 30 kilowatt, has a peak of 30 kilowatts. It's all in one. It's a grow watt. It's massive. I talked to the company about being a ham radio operator, and I was concerned about RF interference. And they told me that they do extensive testing, and they haven't had an issue. So again, when I made the purchase, the batteries are pre-ordered. The batteries should be here next month sometime. Like I said, it was a big purchase. I was sweating a little bit. It's the most money we've spent on anything, especially something like this that's kind of new. I still have to get a transfer panel. And in our house, we have two 200 amp panels. And the plan is to switch one of the panels over to the battery system. The batteries will be charged by a circuit on the second panel, which will remain grid tied. For all the stuff that we can't run off a generator or everything else, like our furnace draws way too much power, things we don't want on the battery at all. So the first panel is going to be run by the inverter all the time. The batteries will be maintained by the circuit on the second panel. I've been monitoring our usage, and our usage really isn't that bad. We shouldn't even hit 12 kilowatts draw on the first panel. I think our max peak was like 9, and it's for a very short amount of time, just a couple of minutes. So our average draw is like on that panel is like 350 watts to like 500. So that should be easy to offset. So the batteries will be charged by the grid. So we'll have grid power and battery power. If the power goes out, then the batteries will fully kick in. And then what I want to do is put in a solar array on the edge of our yard over here where there's no trees or anything. It'll get great sunlight. I don't want to put them up on the roof because you have to maintain them. You have to clean them. I have a small solar panel for my ham shed, my ham shack up there. And it gets extremely dirty out here. I mean, with pollen and dirt and everything else, and even rain like this will wash some of it off. But after it stops raining, if I go up there and take a paper towel and wipe the solar panel, it's really filthy. So I want to put the solar panels down here on the ground where I can go over with a bucket with a squeegee and like squeegee them off every once in a while. And I don't plan on putting a lot of solar panels in. Like I said, our average draw is like 300 to 500. I could put in, 800 watts of solar panels and be ahead of the game for what we use. And we would still have the grid as a backup unless there was a power outage for a few days. And we're keeping our generator. Our generator will be a backup. If the grid goes down and we're running low on power and there's no solar, I can hook the generator back up and recharge the batteries, with 6,500 watts from the generator. So I think we're going to be in good shape. I think I've got this planned out. The only thing to do now is I have to have some wiring done, the transfer panel put in. I'm doing a manual transfer panel because, like I said, we're going to stay on the batteries and the inverter for that one panel all the time. The only reason I'm putting in a transfer panel is if something happens and the inverter breaks, or I need to do maintenance or something like that, or I'm doing something else with it, I want to be able to transfer it back to the grid to run that panel for, however long I have to. That way, if something happens, I always have a backup, one is none, two is one type thing. So I'll always have some kind of backup that I'll be able to switch to if something happens. But yeah, I'm excited. Getting this downstairs, I got to haul this downstairs. That's a couple 100 pounds. I'm going to have to wait until it stops raining and the ground dries out a little bit. I do have a dolly, but I think I can just strap that to and drag it around back and get it inside. The rack itself isn't that heavy. I know I can dolly that and get it in the house. So that's the plan, and that's where we're at. Haven't been doing any POTAs, haven't been out for any POTAs. As many of you who follow me on Instagram know, I started a fitness routine back in October, right around the beginning of October, and I've stuck with it. Actually, today I set a personal best. I ran 5 miles in about 57 minutes. I've been working out and lifting constantly, at least 4 times a week, sometimes 5 or 6. So fitness is key. I feel awesome, and we're going to keep doing that. My wife is actually downstairs in the gym right now working out. I woke up early this morning, couldn't go back to sleep, and got up and worked out, did my lifting, calisthenics, and then I did 5 miles on the treadmill. And my wife's down there now, so I got to get back to work now that the delivery's here. I can just leave it sit here until it stops raining. I think it's supposed to have a let up in the rain tomorrow or Sunday, and I don't think I'm going anywhere, so I can move this stuff later. But yeah, pretty exciting, and I hope you stay tuned to see this and what happens. Where I got this idea actually is from Will Prowse on YouTube. He does a tremendous amount of solar videos and he built a system just like this to charge his Tesla, I believe. And I'm going to be doing the same thing and doing it for my house. And I'm pretty excited. I'm a little nervous about it too. Like I said, this was a huge expense, but we had to do something with all the power outages. My wife can't wheel the generator out and get it hooked up. Plus there's, manual transfer panel and everything else you have to switch. And if I'm not home, she's basically without power. And like I said, right now that generator is only feeding 8 circuits with a manual transfer switch on a little generator transfer panel, and it's not enough. We have to run, like I said, extension cords all over the place just to do simple tasks, and it's very frustrating. So this should take care of it, and I hope you stay tuned for more in the future. This is Tango Oscar Mike, 73. Take care.
Tango Oscar Mike.